Good morning and welcome to the Senate Committee on Commerce and Labor. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Daley. Here. Senator Ellison. Present. Senator Flores. Present. Senator Lang. Senator Rogish. Here. Senator Scheibel. Senator Steinbeck. Here. Chair Pizzina.
Present. Thank you so much. And please mark Senator Scheibel present when she returns. She was here, I think, very early this morning and will return again shortly. Welcome to the members of the audience who are here in Carson City, as well as those that are joining us in Las Vegas, though I don't see anyone right now. Maybe someone will, and those that are following along online. Before we begin, we're going to make just a few housekeeping announcements. First, I'd like to remind everyone to please silence all of your electronic devices while in the committee room. Members of the public may provide testimony in various ways, all of which are listed on the agenda. You may also submit public comment in writing, either in addition to testifying or in place of testifying. And if you wish to testify in person, please sign in at the table by the door and leave your business card with our committee secretary. When testifying in person, please turn on the microphones to speak and off to listen so that those who are listening in, while they may not be in Vegas, they may be listening in online, and we want to ensure they can hear everything that you have to share. And please also state and spell your name for the record. Anyone who'd like to receive electronic notifications of scheduled bills and access to the committee's meeting materials may do so by signing up on Nellis on the legislative website. Committee members will be using their laptops to view handouts and other exhibits. Please do not view this as a sign of disrespect or inattention. And with that, we are going to move on to our first agenda item. We are going in order today. So our first item will be Assembly Bill 198, which establishes provisions relating to certain inflatable devices. And all three bills today, we're fortunate, we have Assemblymember Brown-May, so it is officially Assemblymember Brown-May Day here in Senate Commerce. And we welcome you and we welcome the family to the table.
Thank you. Tracy Brown-May for the record. Thank you for the opportunity to come before you today and have it be Tracy Brown-May Day. Yesterday was my birthday, so this is a great way to start a new year with three bills right in a row in this distinguished committee. So thank you, Chair, and members of the committee for having us here. I'm proud to present this measure, and there has been a lot of work that has been done on Assembly Bill 198 over the course of this legislative session. I'm joined today by Mitch and Wendy Hammond. You'll hear from Elliot Mallon shortly, who's also a presenter in this issue. And together we're going to present the issue, the experience, and the proposed solutions. Inflatable bounce houses and inflatable water slides, are also known as inflatable devices, are fixtures at outdoor events. We see them throughout our communities, birthday parties, family-focused child activities, church events. My church often includes bounce houses in their activities. They're available for purchase by the public. They're available for rental. Hundreds of companies in the United States provide commercial rental options. With daily rental costs in the U.S. as low as $100, bounce houses are often an affordable way to organize activities for family fun, for large groups of children to literally jump up and down inside of them. While they're a source of fun and features at family events, they also pose some known safety hazards and can cause injuries. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission found that there was an estimated 113,272 emergency department treated injuries associated with inflatable amusements between 2003 and 2013. 90% of those were due to bounce houses. A much smaller subset of injuries occurs with weather as a contributing factor, and these devices are safety hazards when dragged, blown, or lofted by winds. A recent study by the University of Texas at El Paso noted that there were 132 documented cases of wind-related bounce house incidents from January 2000 through December 2021. And these 132 incidents caused at least 479 injuries and at least 28 fatalities. 28 children died as the result of a bounce house. So due to the nature of the construction of bounce houses and their high aspect ratios, they can be tipped over, rolled along the ground, or lofted into the air by strong winds or wind gusts. We experience that often in Nevada, both north and south. Children can be injured or even killed while inside an air-transported bounce house. While I wish it was a distant and tragic story, that's simply not true. So today, we are here and are going to hear a story from the Hammonds about their experience, and I will turn it over to them to share their story.
Wendy Hammond, WendyHammond.
I'm Lizzie's mom.
Mitch Hammond, M-I-T-C-H, last name Hammond, H-A-M-M-O-N-D, Dad.
Okay, I'm going to try to keep it brief. I'm sorry for occupying too much time, but I will try to go quickly and cover what we feel are important parts of Lizzie's story. Our daughter Lizzie was 9 years old in 2019. We were at a birthday party. We're skipping family stories, things like that. We have 3 kids. Lizzie was our oldest. She's 9 years old at the time of the accident. We were at a birthday party. This picture's from that morning at the party where they were doing piñatas. It was a party that had everything, right? Cakes, piñatas, fun. The kids were playing in a bounce house. When I got there, I did briefly look at the bounce house, and I saw it was staked out, and I thought that that meant it was kind of weighted down. Like, I just assumed it had a moment of these things could take lift. The stakes, I later learned, were just to keep it from shifting. When kids bounce in it, you know, it moves along on the grass. So falsely reassured with those stakes at that time. Towards the end of the party, we were a couple minutes out from leaving. I just given Lizzie like the 5-minute warning, hey, we're leaving in a few minutes. She walked by, gave me her little, gotcha, Mom, went and got in the bounce house. Our son Danny was in the bounce house at the same time. There were 4 kids in the bounce house when a big gust of wind came through the party. There was also an inflatable water slide. Inflatable water slide started to lift. Our smallest at the time was 2. She was playing in a bucket of water by the water slide, so I ran for her. The other parents were running towards the bounce house as it was starting to lift, yelling at the kids to get out. They had just gone into it, so they were yelling for them to get out. It lifted up and over. One kid fell out as it then went up into the power lines. I was knocked over as I was trying to grab the 2-year-old by the inflatable water slide also. It completely knocked me down and around. And then as I looked up, you could see the bounce house going along the power lines until it finally stopped and hung there. At first I thought, well, that's kind of a good thing, right? Kept the bounce house from like going through the desert. It actually hung over the power lines. We called 911. We were told it was about 15 minutes that she hung in the power lines with our son and the birthday boy. We could hear the birthday boy saying he was okay to his mom. I thought I could hear Lizzie. Danny, he, I think, was too terrified to talk. I couldn't hear him at all. The first responders got there with their fire truck. Then they had too small of a ladder truck. They had to wait for another ladder truck to come. And then we had to wait till Nevada Energy could come and turn off the power. So that was about 15 minutes till they could actually get the kids out of the bounce house. The birthday boy came out first. He was fine, as far as we know. Our son came out next, being carried down by the firefighters. He later thought he'd broken his leg, so he was also at the ER that day. And then Lizzie came out completely unresponsive as the firefighters had to pull her out of the bounce house and carry her down. They put her in the ambulance and then tried to restart her heart as we went from South Reno to Renown. At the hospital, they were able to restart her heart. She ended up suffering blunt force trauma, is what we found out later. So her C1 went into her brain stem. That's what caused her probably instant death. And at what point, we don't know if that's from when she went into the power lines, however it happened. So we're here to advocate for other kids and other families so they don't have to suffer like we have. There were actually 2 more deaths to that stat Ms. Brown gave. There's 2 deaths last year, one in Maryland and one in Arizona. So our accident is not a freak accident. We do believe it was preventable. If there had been weights on the bounce house, given that one kid got out, I think the other kids could have had more time if you had given it some time, to let them get out versus just being uplifted right away. It was in a very soft grass, which is these little stakes. So that's why we're here, is to advocate for other families to prevent this tragedy from happening with them.
adding the weights. And also we think the sign out front will help a lot with these kids and keeping them safe so parents are aware that wind speeds can happen. Lizzie's accident happened in 17-mile-per-hour gust. 15-mile-per-hour day with a gust of 17 is what we can figure. So it can happen at any speed. And again, our son's been diagnosed with PTSD. Our daughter, says she remembers Lizzie. The other part we didn't add in was Lizzie became an organ donor that week as well. So her liver went to a little boy who was number 2 on the national list out of Texas, and her kidneys went to 2 kids in Northern California. So that's the other reason we're advocating is she was a helper and a great support of our community, did law enforcement appreciation bags, things like that. So we just feel it's our duty to help other kids and prevent the tragedy. Sorry, that's our fast and hot heavy. I guess that's okay.
Great story.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hammond, is there something that you want to add before we bring Elliot up to walk through the bill?
Nothing really to add. I mean, I was in Virginia, so I feel sorry for them. My wife had to witness this whole thing. Other than that, I miss my daughter.
As you can see, Tracy Brown May for the record, this is a really hard and heavy way to start our day. This is the way the Hammonds start their day every day, right? And there's no way to bring Lizzie back. But what we can do is make sure that we are responsible in regulating the industry so that other families are aware of the hazards, and then we put into play measures to decrease the risks associated with the activity, right? When I was a little girl, my cousin hung herself on a swing set because at that time, swing sets were manufactured with bars that went over the top of the slide. And when those things happened, we changed how we manufactured slides. This is important that we continue to look at how do we put into play practices to ensure the safety when we operate bounce houses. Mr. Mallon is going to walk through the measures in this bill. I want you to know that a lot of work has been done with local industry throughout Clark County and the state. This accident, and it wasn't an accident, this happened in northern Nevada where there are no regulations. Clark County does have regulations relative to bounce houses, and what we've done is taken those regulations and put them as proposed Nevada revised statutes so we can regulate the industry statewide. With that, I'll turn this over to Mr. Mallon.
Thank you, Elliot Mallon, for the record. I am going to do this as briefly as possible because I do want to respect the committee's time today. Chair Pazina, members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to present AB 198, what we are affectionately calling Lizzie's Law. I want to also thank all of the stakeholders who have engaged with us, and we've made this bill, I think, better in doing so and working with a lot of the bounce house operators here in Nevada, and we're really thankful for them. To get started, sections 3 through 5 are definitions. Section 6 of the bill requires that a business shall not engage in making inflatable devices available unless they hold a valid state business license and liability insurance, a certificate of insurance, bond or a surety company, or any other surety of not less than $1 million. Section 7 of the bill requires an operator business to keep a logbook for any inflatable device which is made available for use by the operator business, that the logbook may be written or digital. It must be available for inspection. It requires that an operator must record the results of each inspection conducted pursuant to sections 8 to 11 of the bill in the logbook, and requires that if an inflatable device is either temporarily or permanently discontinued for use at an event, that the time and date be recorded for any reason described in sections 8 to 11 of this bill, or any reason that is defined in the manufacturer's manual for the device. Section 8 of the bill requires that an operator, before allowing anyone to use the device, inspect the device and the location where the device is to be used in accordance with sections 9 through 11 of the bill, and that the use and setup conforms to the manufacturer's manual for the device. It further requires that the operator not allow any person to use the device if the inspection reveals a hazard or potential hazard that would make the use of the device unsafe. Section 9 requires an operator inspect the inflatable device to ensure that all manufacturer's labels remain attached to the device and are legible. If any label attached to the manufacturer, by the manufacturer of the device is missing, the use of the inflatable device must be discontinued and it must be destroyed. It also further prohibits the transfer or sale of an inflatable device that does not have the original manufacturer's label still attached. On a special note here, the device in which Lizzie was killed did not have the manufacturer's labels, and this was a person operating in this state as a business. Section 10 of the bill requires that an operator shall not permit the use of an inflatable device if the wind exceeds the recommendation of the manufacturer for the specific device in use, or 15 miles an hour if that is not available. And an operator must use an anemometer to calculate wind speed at the time of setup and record that in the logbook. We are proposing in Section 11 of the bill an amendment to require weights or stakes, and that if the stakes are used, that they be non-corrosive metal, which are not less than 18 inches long and designed to meet the requirements for inflatable device safety. Section 12 of the bill requires that the operator set up in a conspicuous place in front of the inflatable device a warning sign that says operator's warning. This is really important to us as it offers an opportunity for us to educate parents and other Nevadans. We are proposing to amend the sign language to reflect the proposed amendment for Section 11 of this bill with the weights or stakes. And Section 13.5 of the bill permits local governments to adopt regulations for enforcement. I want to quickly address the letters in opposition that I saw. First, I want to thank again all the stakeholders who've engaged on this legislation. We have made substantial changes since the first iteration of the bill, and I think we've made this bill stronger and better. We believe strongly that it is in the best interest not to define the word weight as sandbags. I saw that as a proposal as it limits what can be used by an operator. If an operator wants to use 75-pound bucket of water, as long as it meets the 75-pound threshold, we can reduce the overburdensome regulations onto the business and ensure safety. We also strongly believe that the warning sign will help educate parents and Nevadans that it is imperative that they understand the risks involved with the inflatable devices when installed improperly. When it comes to the language of the logbook for inspection, we have negotiated this to limit who can access them and to expand how they can be provided to include digital access. As I promised, I wanted to be brief because I want to respect your guys' time. So thank you for the time today, and I would be happy to take any questions that you might have. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our presentation. We're happy to stand for questions. Tracy Brown May for the record.
Thank you so much for the presentation. And the first thing I'd like to say to the Hammond family is thank you so much for being here. I recognize you had to do this in the assembly, and to come back and do this all over again and to share Lizzie's story with us has to be gut-wrenching. So we thank you so, so much for doing this to advocate on her behalf with Lizzie's Law. So thank you. And with that, do we have questions from the committee? We'll start with Senator Ellison.
Thank you. And when I got to hear your story, I mean, we both went through losses of children, so we know. But apparently, these individuals had no insurance. Is that correct? So they had no liability whatsoever to cover costs. I hate to bring that up, but I think that's important. That it's somebody that can cause this should have some kind of insurance that's mandatory, and that that the cities and the counties should be mandatory to check them insurance prior to giving them a permit.
Wendy Hammond. Yes, that is another part of why we're advocating for this law, is there is nothing on,
I've seen that.
as far as I understand the statutes. This man did not have insurance. He did not have a business license. He probably wasn't following manufacturer guidelines, but they were removed from the bounce house. So we were left, according to the district attorney and the local law enforcement, with nothing because there was no law that he broke. Now, we have our own opinions, right, that there should still be charges of manslaughter, things like that, but that was not our decision. So that is why there is a request in here for them to have insurance of at least $1 million. That was contended before, and we feel it's worth holding it because it would have helped us,
Yeah, I
part of being
agree.
a business owner.
And I think if the authorities, which is in the city or the counties or wherever, has got to make sure that that permit is on there with all the requirements on there. Because somebody's got to inspect it. If not, they could just set up and not have whatever. So anyway, but thank you so much for your testimony.
Thank you so much. And Assemblymember, you had mentioned that these are the current regulations in Clark County. So you're just looking to extend Clark County's regulations statewide. Is that correct?
Tracy Brown May for the record. That is correct. We've done a lot of work with the county, and we're double verifying that these are in fact the same regulations that are in existence in Clark County right now. We've done a lot of work with the businesses that are in Clark County. They're all complying with these regulations currently, although it's never been a Nevada revised statute. It's never been state law, but the Southern Nevada County does have regulations relative to this activity.
Thank you so much. Do we have other questions from the committee? Okay, we're going to go Senator Lang and then Senator Steinbeck.
I might have missed this in your bill, but when if they have to have insurance, which I think is great, is it required that they provide a certificate of insurance when a bounce house is rented? So because I know that even though we have things in the law, people don't follow the law because maybe they don't know, they just don't want to follow the law or whatever. It would just be another protection.
Tracy Brown May for the record. Thank you for that question, Senator. We were trying to navigate ways that we could mandate that insurance was disclosed immediately, and one of the ways to do that is upon rental. I'll turn it over to Mr. Mallon. I know that he's been working through many of these issues.
Elliot Mallon for the record. Thank you for that question. So when we were working with the operators currently, we found that a lot of them that are operating within Clark County, do have this, have been providing this. They also have sometimes required those that are renting to obtain additional insurance to prevent accidents, tragedies, or some sort of event from not just from happening, because we can't prevent that, but to make sure that we protect all parties. So I don't know if we need to require their certificate of insurance, but we want to make sure that we require that they do have the insurance and that they have the license and that everything is in the statute. Thank you.
I just really feel like sometimes people say they have it, but they really don't have it. And having them be required to provide a certificate of insurance upon rental is probably a good idea.
Tracy Brown May for the record. Thank you, Senator. We absolutely agree with that and that position. The other thing is, if an operator is not on site currently, requiring a homeowner that is hosting a party to have insurance or to accept the liability for the activity. So those are also conversations that we're having. I'll go back and take a look at the exact language to make sure that we have insurance requirements that are included.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you both for working so hard to try to make sure this tragedy doesn't happen again. Really respect that and appreciate that. My question is about the use of the anemometer, and it says that if says here, the operator is required to use and keep available for use an anemometer to monitor wind speed before and at all times during use of this device. And it says so available for use. So is the expectation that they would leave that then with the homeowner when they leave? And then is there an expectation that it would be monitored?
Elliot Mallon for the record. Thank you for that question. That's actually a really good point to bring up. The expectation is that the person, the operator business would train the renter on how to utilize the anemometer so that way they can continuously check wind speed. So that way, one, we don't want to put an overburdensome regulation onto the business, so that way that they would have to require an operator be there at all times, because that can get very expensive. And so the expectation is that they would train the renter, the user of the device, on how to use the anemometer to continuously check, so that way we can keep everybody safe and reduce the overburdensome regulation on business.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
And Senator Daley.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. And along those lines, some of the questions. So how is it actually working if we have these rules in Clark County? From what you just said, apparently they don't have to have a person there full time, although if you don't know, it sounds like they would have had to. Have they gotten pretty good compliance with the parents? I mean, I see, or the people renting, they get left up overnight a lot of times, the day after the party, because it's not just one day. have the people that are responsible for the wind measurements and all that stuff actually complying and shutting it down, and they say, oh, the kids are having fun, it'll be fine. I just want to know how it is actually being administered and working.
Tracy Brownway for the record. Thank you very much for that question, Senator. We have spent lots of time talking with businesses that have been operating this type of activity for many years. Those responsible businesses take the safety of their clients and their reputation in our community very seriously. And so they are doing all the right things. They're educating families. They're making sure that wind speeds are being monitored. They're maintaining logbooks. They're registering repairs. They have liability insurance, right? So they're doing all of the really great things, which is why you saw some folks come up in opposition, because they're like, hey, this is my industry and we've been doing this for a really long time and we're good at it, right? And so in Clark County in particular, I can tell you there are a number of businesses that are very good at ensuring the safety and consistency in how their bounce houses are being operated.
And thank you, if I can follow up. I just wanted to make sure I understood if it's being done, people lose their argument to say, oh, we can't do it. And I said, no, it can be done, and you should, and we need to make sure we have the safety. Just to comment on one other thing where you mentioned people were saying, oh, we don't want sandbags, if you can use a water weight or whatever. I think you need to be very specific about that. It has to be in a container that can't tip over and have the water leak out. Certainly no 5-gallon bucket that's open, or you'll have different tragedies potentially with small kids. So just be very specific on that, I think, if you're going to even contemplate.
Tracy Brownway for the record. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I think we would leave the specifics of that relative to regulations within the counties. I think each county would come up with something specific for them. Having us have the overarching goal of 75 pounds as a weight or the stakes is our intention for a statewide expectation.
Understood. I was just saying every 5-gallon bucket you see has that warning on the outside for drowning or small kids. So you don't want to have that in the element.
All right, Senator Rogish.
Good morning, and thank you for bringing this bill. I understand the difficulty of learning to live life with grief, having lost a child myself. So one of the things I wanted to get an understanding of and clarify, under Section 13, it says that the local jurisdictions may create these ordinances. What if they don't? Will this bill preempt the lack of ordinance and enforce the requirements on businesses?
Tracy Brownway for the record. Thank you, Senator, for that question and for your legal background and expertise in this area in particular. Yes, that is our intention, that once we have a Nevada revised statute on the books, that is the statewide expectation, and any local jurisdiction that found a violation of this provision would then have the opportunity to pursue other solutions.
Okay, I don't see any further questions, so thank you so much for being here. We'll have you take a step back from the table so that we can take testimony in support of Assembly Bill 198. We'll start in our physical location. Since I see no one in Las Vegas, we'll start in Carson City if anyone would like to testify in support, and then after that, we will move to the phone lines.
Good morning, Chair, members of the committee. My name is Matt Morris, M-O-R-R-I-S, for the record with Holland and Hart. I'm here in support of AB 198 on behalf of Party Jumpers LLC, which is a small business operator based in Clark County. First, we would like to thank the bill sponsor, Assembly Member Brown May, and Mr. Mallon for working with us this session to address some questions and concerns with the bill and to make this a more effective piece of legislation. As amended, we support the bill because we agree it will meaningfully disincentivize illicit and unlicensed operators without punishing those in the industry who are committed to prioritizing safety. With the amendments proposed today, we support this bill and we respectfully urge its passage. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Morris.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Cherie Hess, Sherii-Hess, and I am here to support the bill. Lizzie was a dear friend of mine, and it's just been an absolute tragedy, and I do not think another family should ever have to go through this. So thank you.
Roger Linscott, I'm the grandfather of Lizzie. Sitting here today, I'm very impressed with both parts of the legislature and their overwhelming support for this bill. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you all for being here again in the Senate. I know this must seem unbearable, and so to come back and do this twice, we really appreciate you advocating on behalf of Lizzie and sharing her story. Not seeing anyone else in our physical locations, we're going to move to the phone lines broadcast. Do we have anyone on the phone lines who'd like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 198?
If you would like to testify in support of AB 198, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue.
Hello, everybody. My name is Catherine Nielsen, and today I'm actually testifying on behalf of myself and my family. First, I want to thank you for your time today. My husband had the honor of serving in the Nevada Army National Guard with Mitch Hammond Jr., which is Lizzie's brother. I firsthand witnessed the grief that this family experienced. I watched Lizzie's honor walk at Renown. The pain is something that won't ever go away for them or any of the other 28 families that lost someone. Our family personally no longer allows bounce houses either because of what happened to Lizzie. It's our responsibility as adults to keep these children safe. We've made the changes for our families, but we're counting on you to help the rest. And I want to thank Assemblywoman Brown May for her time in sponsoring this bill and the Hammond family for bringing this to our attention. And I urge you to pass this measure. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Missy Winter. I am here on behalf of Celebrate Kids, which has been providing children's entertainment services in Nevada for over 34 years. I wish to express my support of this amended bill. I believe the revisions made represent meaningful progress towards the bill's original intent, which is enhancing the safety of Nevada families, while also ensuring that licensed and insured companies like us can continue to operate without facing undue or burdensome restrictions. Thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Hello, this is Dustin Winter. I'm here as co-owner of Celebrate Kids in Las Vegas, and I'm supportive of this amended bill as well. Assemblywoman Tracy Brown May has invested considerable time and research into this legislation, and I believe the amendments that reflect the deep understanding of the issue involved. This bill's come a long way in support of our industry and in the safety of our children and of the clients of our children. This bill is a vital step towards enhancing the child safety by requiring statewide insurance coverage and business licensing for the operators. The proper installation and securing of inflatables is critical to ensuring the safety of our customers and their children. Thank you so much for my time.
Good morning. This is Dora Martinez. I want to thank the bill sponsor for bringing forward this bill, and my condolences to the family, and we wholeheartedly support this bill. Thank you.
Chair, you have no more callers in support at this time.
Thank you so much. And with that, we will open up testimony in opposition of Assembly Bill 198. We'll start in our physical locations and then move to the phone lines. I don't see anyone coming to the table in Carson City, and we have no one in Las Vegas. So broadcast, we are back to you. Is there anyone on the phone who'd like to testify in opposition of Assembly Bill 198?
If you would like to testify in opposition of AB 198, please press star 9 now. Chair, you have no callers in opposition at this time.
Thank you so much. And while we're with you, broadcast, is there anyone who'd like to testify in neutral on Assembly Bill 198?
If you would like to testify neutral on AB 198, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, that caller is no longer connected. You have no more callers at this time.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone in our physical location here in Carson City or that's hiding in Las Vegas that would like to come to the table to testify in neutral on Assembly Bill 198?
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Chair, members of the committee. This is Alex Ortiz with Clark County. Just here, wanted to thank the Assembly Member Tracy Brown May for taking into consideration some of the provisions that currently exist in our Development Code, Title 30 at Clark County. And just want to say thank you for including some of those provisions within the proposed legislation. Thank you.
Okay, not seeing anyone else to testify in neutral, we would welcome the Assembly Member back if she has any closing remarks.
Tracy Brown May for the record. We just want to say thank you for giving us the opportunity to present such a compelling story so that we can continue to work on the safety of all of our children. Thank you.
Thank you so much to you, and thank you so much to the Hammond family for being here today. And with that, we will close the hearing on Assembly Bill 198, and we will open the hearing on Assembly Bill 202, revising provisions relating to claims for dental health. And we will welcome the Assembly member and her co-presenter back to the table.
Good morning, Tracy Brown May for the record. Number 2. Boy, I hope you guys like the sound of my voice because it's going to be long. I am very excited to be here today to present our second measure on the agenda today. Assembly Bill 202 revises provisions relating to dental care claims. Whew. I have not had coffee yet this morning. I just want to be clear. Came right to you. I'm good. Thank you. I'm joined today by Mr. Paul Klein. He will be part of our presentation. He's with Tri Strategies. And we want to talk a little bit about oral health. So we're going to shift gears a little bit. Oral health is integral to our overall health as we continue to discover the healthier our teeth are, the healthier our heart is. Access to dental services is essential for promoting and maintaining good oral health for Nevadans. And I have personally spent way too much time with professionals in the dental field, and we won't go into that because that's way too much information. But I bet I'm not alone. Approval of dental claims is essential to our family's well-being. The Nevada Office of Consumer Health Assistance was established by the legislature back in 1999. And this office helps Nevadans to understand their rights and benefits in their health care plans. Then in 2003, the legislature added an external review process for patients to use in the event of a denied claim for a service or procedure. While Nevada residents can currently seek a review for denied medical claims, dental is specifically excluded. Dental patients currently have no recourse or access to an independent review following the denial of a dental claim, and this bill rectifies that issue. So I'm pleased to turn this over to Paul Klein, who will walk us through the bill summary.
Paul Klein, K-L-E-I-N. Good morning. Ultimately, this is about this issue of dental insurers control claim denials while profiting from claim denials. You all know that. So here are the sections of the bill. Section 1 includes dentists and the definition of clinical peer. Section 2, managed care organizations are not obligated to approve coverage if the decision is denied by a dentist. Section 3 is the most important part. This is what really the bill's about, is it expands the rules for managing complaints and external reviews to include insurance policies that cover dental services. Section 4 and 5 allows dentists to provide written certifications and requests for an expedited external review in the cases of adverse determination. 6 and 7, the legislation requires independent review organizations to involve dentists in the process. Section 8 equates the role of a covered person's dentist to that of a physician in the external review process. Section 9 ensures that in external reviews, the documentary evidence considered includes recommendations from the insured's dentists similar to those of a physician. Ultimately, this is a real simple bill. This office is in place. This process is in place. We're just simply by adding dental to the state's external review program will ensure medically necessary treatments are covered by insurance, putting patients before profits.
Tracy Brown May for the record. I just would like to offer that there is no simple bill. Okay? Just so we're clear, no simple bill. But we are happy to stand for questions.
Thank you so much for clarifying that. I think you might have activated our vice chair with the word simple. Do we have any questions from the committee? Okay. Vice Chair Daley.
And thank you, Madam Chair. You beat me to the punch. I was going to say you didn't coach him not to say simple. I mean, straightforward. There's a lot of other things. Simple isn't the one. No, just a quick question. I think I understand putting this into the review process and various things. Are there going to be enough dentists or people in the subject matter experts to do the review? I'm hoping and assuming that there is, and you'll work through that process. But there's going to be a mechanism. Obviously, physicians are in those roles, and now you're going to have to include dentists. So hopefully that's going to be handled. Just making sure we have the resources that it will work.
Thank you for the question. Paul Klein for the record. Yes, we've consulted with the office, and they're fully capable of doing that, and they have a great directory of folks to consult with.
All right, not seeing any further questions, we're going to have you take a step back from the table. This will be old school for you by now, Assembly Member. Just think by the time you're on your third bill. With that, we are going to welcome anyone who'd like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 202 to the table. In Carson City, I still don't see anyone in Las Vegas, and not seeing anyone, we are going to move to the phones broadcast. Is there anyone who'd like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 202?
If you would like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 202, please press star 9 now. If you recently just joined us, we are currently in support of Assembly Bill 202. If you would like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 202, please press star 9 now. Chair, you have no callers in support at this time.
Thank you so much. We're going to welcome up those that are in opposition of Assembly Bill 202, starting in Carson City. I still don't see anyone in Las Vegas, and then we'll move to the phones.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Helen Foley, and today I'm representing Delta Dental. Delta Dental is the largest dental insurer in the United States. We're in all 50 states. In Nevada alone, we cover 275,000 lines, and there are also like 20,000 dentists that use Delta Dental. We understand the need for external review in many situations, and we're proud that we instituted this in Nevada for medical claims quite a few years ago. To simply add the word dentists in with physicians and dentists for this issue, it's like apples and oranges. Right now, let's give an example. If someone needs an operation, their doctor, their physician decides they need an operation and it might cost $50,000, and they can't reach an agreement on this, certainly the need for external review. We're talking about a $250 crown for the dentists. And there is a cap on the amount that you can receive annually in dental services with your dental policy, unlike how medical is, where it could be very extensive and up into the millions of dollars. The vast majority of plans are somewhere between $1,500 and $2,500. So we aren't talking about a lot of money here. The vast majority of services that are provided by the dentist when you have dental insurance are the cleanings, the x-rays. And I'll tell you, when I am eligible to go once every 6 months, I get my teeth cleaned that often. If I have to pay the full price, got to take my kids in, I might delay that. And with that delay comes a lot of problems with your mouth and with your dental issues. But this is like apples and oranges. Once you reach that $2,500 cap, it doesn't matter how much you need that crown. It's no longer covered. You have maxed out on your services for that year. So there is a two-prong approach. You can complain if something is denied, and then there's an appeal. And so then there's discussion, and the vast majority of those, absolutely, are resolved to the satisfaction of the patient, unless, of course, it's cosmetic surgery or it's orthodontia and you don't have that in your plan. So things are very cut and dry with dental where they may not be with medical. We think that if we had to hire an external review a person through the state on a $250 cap, it would probably cost us $500 to hire the person that's supposed to arbitrate this. So of course, it makes it very problematic. It's just like if you have eye insurance. You know, you can't just get an unlimited number of prescription glasses or go and do other things. You have a cap on that, and they're fairly small. But dental and eye have provided opportunities for individuals to get in and get those services that they need at a much more economical cost than they would if they didn't have dental insurance. So we wanted to point that out to you. We don't think the problem is what the dentists say that it is. Obviously, if we've got 275,000 Nevadans who utilize our services alone with Delta Dental, it's working pretty well. It's working pretty well. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. All right, not seeing anyone else coming forward in Carson City, although we do now see someone in Las Vegas, but he's not coming forward to the table. So with that, we will go to the phone lines. Broadcast, do we have anyone on the phone lines who'd like to testify in opposition of Assembly Bill 202?
If you would like to testify in opposition of AB 202, please press star 9 now. Chair, you have no callers in opposition at this time.
Thank you so much. Broadcast, while we're with you, do we have anyone who'd like to testify in neutral on Assembly Bill 202?
If you would like to testify neutral on Assembly Bill 202, please press star 9 now. You have no callers neutral at this time.
Thank you so much, Broadcast. Do we have anyone in the room in Carson City or in Las Vegas who'd like to testify in neutral on Assembly Bill 202? Not seeing anyone coming forward, we would welcome the Assembly member for any closing statements.
Thank you. Tracy Brown May for the record. I want to say thank you for the opportunity to present this measure today. Dental is really important for me personally. Well, you probably don't need to know it publicly for the record, but I do have an implant. I have several of them and have spent a lot of time with lots of dental professionals. My orthodontist, my prosthodontist, my oral surgeon, which I had oral surgery right before I came up on session. It's really important that we have access to good care and that when a claim is denied, we have an opportunity for reconsideration. Knowing that the opposition you heard is probably a really great player in this field, but they're not the only provider of insurance. So we want to make sure that Nevadans have fair access to quality care. So thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. And with that, we will close the hearing on Assembly Bill 202. And I wouldn't go too far because we're going to open the hearing on Assembly Bill 407, which enacts provisions relating to the repair of certain devices. And you are up once again with any co-presenters that you might have. Thank you so much, Assembly Member Brown May. And happy belated birthday.
Okay, thank you for the repeat. This is really exciting and the best birthday present ever. So first, let me just say thank you for this. I really do hope you like the sound of my voice, honestly. Assembly Bill 407 is the culmination of lots and lots of work over the course of the interim. I am honored to be joined today by Mr. Connor Fogel, who is an artist. He's just an amazing guy. You're going to meet him in a minute, okay? This measure is the result of concerns from members of the disability community who rely on personal mobility devices to gain access and have independence. Okay, so Connor had an issue, Mr. Fogel had an issue about repair of his personal mobility device, and it was pretty bad, honestly, throughout COVID. He couldn't get parts and repair and was stuck. Well, that's not good. As you can see, Connor is pretty excited to be here today. And so I'm going to let him give you a little bit about his story, and then we'll go into the bill. Okay?
Connor Fogel here to represent the bill. So my electric wheelchair broke about 4 years ago, and it was really threw my life upside down. I can't do my regular stuff easily, and it took over 6 months to get my chair fixed, and in that time I was in my manual chair, which I can't push on my own, and I have to rely on people to push me, and this issue is much bigger than people realize, and they do not understand that we use our chairs for legs. And I was fortunate I could do my job from home, because otherwise I would have lost my job, because I can't get there due to my electric chair. I have friends who've been in the same issue and who got injured by not having a normal chair, because the manual chair is so light when they go out of it, it moves. So when they sit down, it moves, which they break their hips and become more disabled than they are. So that's,
You good?
yeah.
Awesome. Tracy Brown May for the record. As you can tell from Connor, this is really about maintaining mobility and personal independence. When you don't have access to your community, you don't have access to your job or employment, right? So now how do you earn your wage to keep your rent? So it's the cyclical process that people who use personal mobility devices rely on in order to have independence to their community. It's important that we allow individuals who utilize personal mobility devices to have access to repair. A lot of work has been done on this measure. So the bill language that we're considering today is specific to personal mobility devices. I want to be really clear about that. We started very broadly, and we're working across lots of different industries, and then decided that really our focus is about Connor and people like Connor that rely on a personal mobility device to gain access. So we pared back all of our language, and the bill you have in front of you specifically identifies personal mobility device. Section 3 identifies each definition as referred to in this measure. Sub 7 identifies equipment as mobility devices, and this is the only equipment that's referred to in this measure. Section 4 details fair trade practices, which identifies that an original equipment manufacturer shall, on fair and reasonable terms and costs, make available to any independent repair provider or owner of the original equipment manufacturer's equipment any documentation, parts, embedded software, firmware, or tools that are intended for use with the equipment or any part, including updates, documentation, parts, software, tools, so they can make repair. Independent providers could make repair. Section 5 details what an original manufacturer may not retaliate against an authorized repair provider or hinder the ability of an authorized repair provider. Section 6 identifies protections for the manufacturer. Section 7 details liability. And that's pretty much the bill. It's modeled after other states, so we are not reinventing the wheelchair, if you will, the wheelchair repair bill. So it is being enacted in other states across the country. We did work with Apple, we worked with Google, we've worked with lots and lots of industries to come up with the right language for us to be able to present for this measure specific to personal mobility devices. That's the entirety of our presentation. We're happy to stand for questions.
Thank you so much for the presentation, Assembly Member and Mr. Fogel, and I can't imagine being 6 months waiting on that repair, so thank you so much for sharing that with us. Do we have any questions, Mr. Ellis, Senator Ellison?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Been there, done that. We had an individual that had a wheelchair device. They put new batteries in and did what they're supposed to do, but they were weak, and within a short period of time, they went out and they said, well, you can't qualify for more until after it reaches a certain time. So not only would you have to go through the federal government and I can't remember, it was Medicare or whichever one it was. So finally we had to get a hold of congressional representatives to get a hold of them and slam on them to get these devices back up. And it was awful the time they had to wait. So I had an individual friend of mine that picked up the parts in Twin Falls, Idaho, and brought it to Elko, and then we got it in. But we shouldn't have done that. We should not have done that. They should have been able to come in, fix the devices, and get them back up. But it was months, so until they got to me. So anyway, it was good, and I'm glad the bill's here, and thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I believe that Senator Daley had some questions.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I'm just wanting to make it clear on the record and in my mind as well. I think I understand the gist of it, but it reads like, the first part and the second part, right? So if you can help me go through what actually happened, or at least what I'm reading from the bill, and you can tell me where I'm wrong and clarify. So I understand we have the original manufacturer. He has a lot invested, software, parts, various things. And if I'm understanding correctly, he has then authorized repair people either that are employed directly by that manufacturer to do the servicing, and they have access to all of the software and all of the stuff from the manufacturer. Then they have not directly employed but otherwise authorized people to repair that are affiliated, right, if I'm understanding that. And then you have independent people that are not affiliated with the manufacturer or licensed by them, if you will, to say, hey, I'm a certified person to do this. Maybe just as capable of stuff, but then the manufacturer is then barring them, limiting them. You can't get schematics. We're not going to give you access to our parts. We're not going to share software. So you can do some of these. Or they're giving them old stuff, outdated, not the newest. So is that kind of what happened? Couldn't get to the manufacturer, couldn't get to the authorized dealer, tried to go to the independent guy, but then he was blocked from the manufacturer from getting the latest information, equipment, software to actually make the repair. Did I follow that?
Tracy Brown May for the record. Thank you, Senator. You did follow that. That is a big part of what the problem is. As Mr. Fogel experienced, even when you have a repair request in with a manufacturer, often you will wait months for a part to become available or the schematics or a repair person to be able to come available to come out to you. There are very few independent repair providers currently because it limits or voids the warranty from the original manufacturer. So this measure is really intended to allow us to grow independent repair providers locally. So I would liken it to the picture of the Maytag repairman. So back in the day, the Maytag repairman was the only guy who could repair your Maytag, right? But then over consumer protection evolves, so now those schematics become available for an independent provider, and then they not only repair Maytag, but they repair Samsung and Panasonic and all the other brands. So that's what we would propose to do with this industry. It's intended to help our small business be able to grow and offer repairs to multiple types of personal mobility devices so that we have access to parts and timely repair in our communities. And that's really what it is.
And thank you. I just wanted to make sure that I was following the deal and get that basically on the record. So it is a competition thing, and then, the manufacturer basically blocking out only people so they've got a line on that. And I understand the part about the warranty and the various things, but it seems to me that when you sell that device, you can't then keep as proprietary, especially when it impacts a person's life like that, the necessary information to get the repairs, especially if you're making them wait 6 months and those types of things. There's got to be other options. So thank you.
All right. Not seeing any further questions from the committee, we thank you so much for the trifecta of bills today, Assembly Member. And we would invite you and Mr. Fogel to move back from the table. And we thank you again so much for the presentation today. We really enjoyed it. And when you're ready, then we'll begin testimony in support of Assembly Bill 407. We'll start in our physical locations, and then we'll move to the phone lines.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, Trey Abney, Trayabney, here today representing the small business job creators of NFIB Nevada. Here today to support a bill in the hopes that the Vice Chair won't yell at me in this committee hearing. I want to thank Assemblymember Brown May and Connor for bringing this bill forward. This is a nationwide issue that's not just with these devices but other electronics. As the sponsor mentioned, we believe that local, independent, small repair businesses are perfectly capable of doing this work. We think that Nevadans and Nevada-owned businesses can handle this and should be allowed to handle this, and we should do anything possible to help folks like Connor be able to get their devices repaired. So we proudly stand up and support this bill. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the Senate Committee. My name is Pam Barrick, Pamberek, and I'm here today as a proud mother of my son, 23-year-old Carson Barrick, who lives with cerebral palsy, autism, and epilepsy. We live in Reno, Nevada, and I'm also a disability advocate, shared living provider, and personal care assistant. Today I'm testifying on behalf of families like ours who rely on electric wheelchairs, and when they break, there's no clear path to timely repair. Carson will never walk independently. His electric wheelchair is not just his equipment, it's his independence, it's his legs. Without it, Carson cannot go outside, attend therapy, appointments, participate in community events, or even get around our home freely. When this wheelchair breaks, life stops for him. We do have a manual wheelchair. People have asked, well, why don't you just put him in a manual wheelchair? These chairs are custom made for our family members, and a manual wheelchair is not, it's just stock. So his scoliosis will develop and get worse, and his posture is not going to be helped at all. So it's not simple as just give him a manual wheelchair. Like Connor, Carson does not have the ability to roll wheels, so he is not able to self-propel without the joystick. The sad truth is repairs often take months. We waited over 6 months just to get the shoe holders, had broken on his wheelchair, and we waited over 6 months. And it was this really sharp piece of plastic that we had to we MacGyver a lot of things. We had to put a pool noodle around so that when he was getting into it, he didn't scrape or rip his shin apart. In fact, at this moment, I've got duct tape on the back of his controller, holding the controller together. So we do what we can with duct tape and gum. These delays are unacceptable, and they take an enormous toll on not just Carson, but our entire family, trying to work around them. The Right to Repair Bill, AB 407, is about restoring fairness, access, and autonomy. It would allow families and local repair professionals to get the tools, manuals, and parts they need to fix equipment in a timely and safe way without being dependent on a slow and expensive system, waiting for insurance approvals and Medicaid approvals and a whole bunch of red tape. For Carson, it would mean he wouldn't lose his mobility. For Carson, every day without his wheelchair is a day lost. AB 407 would help ensure that he doesn't have to lose another day. This bill is a lifeline for our family and many others across the state. Please pass the bill. Let Nevada be a state that empowers people with disabilities, supports caregivers, and values real independence. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for Carson for being here today, too.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Mary Przenski here, and I'm representing the State of Nevada Association of Providers. And our providers provide services for the intellectually disabled all around the state. And many of the people who are served by our providers are wheelchair bound. I think the stories that you've heard this morning and the Senator Ellison, thank you for your story as well. This is an intolerable situation for people, and this bill will help make life better for everybody, for those who are disabled and the providers as well. So please give this consideration, serious consideration, and pass the bill. Thank you so much.
Good morning. My name is Brian E. Edom. I'm Connor's coach. I own a quadriplegic, physically challenged bodybuilding competition team. You wouldn't believe it, but underneath that suit, Connor's ripped. And he's the current world champion for the IMBA PMBA Natural Bodybuilding Association. Being his coach for many, many years now, watching him go through and try to navigate getting his wheelchair fixed, and then watching having to start over, because consistency is key, and getting out there and having a consistent program of getting to the gym, lifting weights, and when you take away the wheelchair that he needs, it makes it impossible to keep on those routines. I've seen it with my other athletes also that are unable to be here today, so I just wanted to speak on their behalf also and say that this bill really needs to be a law here in the state, that they have the right to repair, so that we can get this done in a timely manner so their lives can stay on track. And really appreciate the opportunity to be here, and thank you all for what you do for our state and our country.
Thank you so much for being here. And I believe we do have someone in Las Vegas, so we're going to move to Las Vegas for testimony in support of Assembly Bill 407.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee, Stephen Cohen. How can I follow everyone else? Ditto. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Cohen. And with that, we are going to move to the phone lines for anyone who'd like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 407.
If you would like to testify in support of AB 407, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue.
Good morning, Chair and members of this esteemed committee. My name is Catherine Nielsen, and I am making these comments today as the Executive Director of the Nevada Governor's Council on Developmental Disabilities. AB 407 is more than a policy issue. It is a matter of autonomy, dignity, and access to everyday life. This bill would give wheelchair users the right to repair their own mobility devices or choose trusted technicians without being forced to rely on a single, often slow and expensive, authorized provider. For many wheelchair users, the broken chair is not an inconvenience. It's a crisis. It means missed medical appointments, missed work, missed school, and an inability to leave the house. I have personally seen Connor go through this hardship. As a friend of his, I walked through this with him for the many months that he went without his wheelchair because the manufacturer was on only legal one allowed to make those repairs. This bill is about giving people control over their lives and reducing the barriers that people with disabilities already face far too often. And it ensures that wheelchair users and their families can access parts, tools, and manuals necessary to perform safe and timely repairs. It puts power back into the hands of people who depend on mobility devices, not as luxury items, but as lifelines. And we are very supportive of this measure. Thank you, Assemblywoman Brown-May and Connor Fogel, for bringing this all to our attention, and thank you for your time. I yield.
Chair, you have no more callers at this time.
Thank you so much. We are now going to move to testimony in opposition of Assembly Bill 407. And not seeing anyone coming forward in our physical locations, we are going to move back to the phones. Broadcast, is there anyone on the phone lines who'd like to testify in opposition of Assembly Bill 407?
If you would like to testify in opposition of AB 407, please press star 9 now. Chair, you have no callers in opposition at this time.
Thank you so much. While we're with you, broadcast, is there anyone who'd like to testify in neutral on Assembly Bill 407?
If you would like to testify neutral on AB 407, please press star 9 now. Chair, you have no callers neutral at this time.
All right. Do we have anyone in our physical locations who'd like to testify in neutral on Assembly Bill 407? Not seeing anyone coming forward, we'd welcome the Assembly member back. Okay, we have no closing comments on Assembly Bill 407, and so that will close our hearing. And we thank you so much for presenting 3 bills today, post-birthday, without coffee. And we also thank Mr. Fogel for being here to help present this last bill. And with that hearing is closed. We're going to move on to the final portion of our agenda, which is public comment. Members of the public may provide public comment in person, by phone, or submit written public comment to the committee's email address. Instructions for providing public comment may be found on the agenda, including the call-in information. We look forward to hearing your comments. And we ask that you clearly state and spell your name for the record, and we'll begin with public comment in our physical locations, and then after that, we will move to the phone lines. And I don't see anyone coming forward in our physical locations to make public comment, so we will move to the phones. Broadcast, is there anyone on the line who'd like to share public comment with us in regards to commerce and labor this morning?
If you would like to provide public comment, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, you have no callers at this time.
Thank you so much. I would also like to say a very special thank you to the committee members who've worked so hard all session long. It is Committee Gift Day, so I thank you all for your service on this committee, for your dedication. And I'd also like to give a special shout out to our staff who are incomparable. I feel like I won the jackpot between the phenomenal staff that we have here, the amazing committee members, and I truly thank you all so much for the hard work you've done all session long. And on your tables this morning, on your desk, were a small note of appreciation for all of the work you've done. So thank you so, so much. We are doing a special meeting tomorrow morning, Thursday, May the 8th, at 8 a.m. So be back here. We look forward to seeing you. We'll have just a few bills on the agenda. And with that, we are adjourned.